All right, let's kick off another deep dive. Today we're diving into AI.
Yep.
Specifically, there's this Chinese startup called DeepSeek that's, well, they're making some pretty big waves, causing a bit of a stir, you know. We've got this article here from Al Jazeera. The title is, What's DeepSeek? China's AI startup sending shockwaves through global tech.
Sending shockwaves, huh?
Yeah, they're framing it as a pretty big deal. So the question we're looking at today is, can this relatively small, and I got to say kind of under the radar company, can they actually challenge like the big players, Google, OpenAI, those guys?
Right, right.
And if they can, what does that mean for the whole future of AI?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
Some people are even calling this a Sputnik moment for the industry.
A Sputnik moment.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it is intriguing how DeepSeek just seemed to appear out of nowhere. They just burst onto the scene, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
And what I find fascinating is that their founder, Liang Wenfeng, he doesn't come from, a traditional tech background.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, his background is actually in finance. He founded and ran hedge funds.
Hedge funds.
Hedge funds that used AI.
Okay, now that's interesting. You don't often see a finance person leading an AI revolution. Makes you wonder if maybe that experience in finance gives him, I don't know, a different perspective.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more strategic,
Yeah.
A little more calculated, not the typical go big or go home kind of approach we see a lot from, Silicon Valley.
Yeah, it's a good point. And their approach with DeepSeek really does challenge that idea that you need tons of money to make a real impact in AI.
Yeah.
The Al Jazeera article talks about how they developed their DeepSeek R1 model.
Okay.
And this is key. It's a large language model, designed to handle lots of different tasks. They developed it for less than $10 million.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's nothing compared to what companies like OpenAI are spending.
Yeah.
I mean, that's mind-blowing. Makes you think they must have some kind of secret weapon, some really innovative way of developing these things to be that efficient.
Right.
It's not just the budget either.
No.
They also made some interesting choices when it came to hardware. So while U.S. companies are fighting over the latest, the most powerful Nvidia chips, DeepSeek went with the less powerful Nvidia H800s. Probably less expensive too, I'd imagine.
Probably, yeah.
So they're not going for the biggest, most powerful thing out there, but they're still getting results.
Right.
That really does change things, especially with all this talk about chip restrictions and the whole global competition in AI. Maybe they found a way to kind of sidestep those limitations, by focusing on clever engineering and being more resourceful.
It makes you wonder how those chip choices specifically affect their model's performance. Because while the H800s might not be the most powerful individual chips, it's possible they're using a different approach, using a bunch of specialized models, all working together, each one optimized for a specific task.
Oh.
So by dividing up the work in a really clever way, they might be able to overcome the limitations of those slower chips.
So it's kind of like strength in numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that you mention it, I do remember reading something about OpenAI using a similar approach. Maybe that's the future of AI development, huh? Finding ways to be more efficient instead of just relying on brute force computing power.
Yeah, it's a really interesting idea. And if DeepSeek is succeeding with this approach, that could have huge implications for the whole industry.
Yeah.
It could be a real paradigm shift where resourcefulness and clever design become just as important as having the absolute latest and greatest hardware.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget about the impact they've already had. DeepSeek, they really sent shockwaves through the U.S. tech sector.
Oh, yeah.
When they released their model, Nvidia, the company that makes those chips everyone wants,
right,
their market value, it just plummeted. Almost $600 billion gone in a single day.
$600 billion.
Yeah, it's crazy. To put that into perspective, that's like the entire value of Tesla or Berkshire Hathaway just disappearing overnight.
Yeah. That really shows you just how disruptive DeepSeek has been. They didn't just cause a ripple, it was a tsunami.
And then just weeks later, President Trump announces this $500 billion AI initiative led by OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank. You think that's a coincidence?
I don't know.
It feels like a direct response to the pressure DeepSeek's putting on the U.S. to stay on top in AI.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting development. And it shows you how DeepSeek has become, a major player on the global AI stage.
Yeah.
Their success it's forcing everyone to rethink things, reevaluate who has the power in this space,
Yeah.
and what the rules of the game really are.
DeepSeek's really, they've really thrown a wrench in things, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, shaking things up,
Yeah.
making everyone pay attention.
It's not just about the money, though.
You're right. This brings up some really fundamental questions about how AI is developed.
Yeah.
What are the real keys to innovation? Is it all about computing power, massive budgets?
Right.
Or are there other ways to achieve success in this field? I think DeepSeek's story suggests that maybe, just maybe, there's a different approach.
I'm really curious about Liang Wenfeng himself.
Yeah.
The Al Jazeera article mentioned that he wrote the preface for the Chinese edition of this book.
Yeah.
About Jim Simons.
Jim Simons, oh, wow.
Yeah, the legendary mathematician, hedge fund manager.
Right. The guy who really pioneered using quantitative analysis in finance.
Exactly. That connection, it just feels significant somehow.
Well, remember, the author of that book, he's a Wall Street journalist. He specifically pointed out how insightful Liang's preface was. Mm-hmm. It suggests a really deep understanding of Simon's work and what made him so successful.
So here's what I'm thinking. Could it be that Liang's background in finance, has given him like a unique set of tools, perspectives that he's now applying to AI development? I mean, finance at its heart, it's about recognizing patterns, managing risk, being super efficient.
Yeah.
And those skills, they seem incredibly relevant to, building and training AI models.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have unlimited resources.
Yeah, no, I think you're onto something. I mean, DeepSeek's focus on efficiency, their willingness to use less powerful hardware, it all points to a different mindset, It's like they're not just throwing money at the problem. Right. They're thinking strategically about how to get the most out of what they have, every dollar, every chip.
It's almost like they've taken the principles of value investing and applied them to AI.
Exactly. Instead of chasing the hottest trends, the most expensive stuff, they're looking for those undervalued opportunities.
Yeah. Finding
ways to get maximum value from what they have. And that approach, it might be one of the main reasons they've achieved such incredible results,
Yeah.
With a fraction of the resources of their competitors, it really challenges that assumption that bigger is always better in AI.
Now, it's important to point out that OpenAI, they're not just sitting around.
Right.
The article mentions they're about to release a new model, O3 Mini.
O3 Mini, right.
And they're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah.
But I think what DeepSeek shows us is that maybe we shouldn't think about this as a winner-take-all kind of race.
Mm-hmm.
There might be room for different approaches,
different
strengths, that are valuable in different situations.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it. DeepSeek's focus on efficiency, using less powerful hardware, it could make their models, more accessible, more adaptable to a wider range of situations.
Especially in places where resources are more limited or cost is a big factor.
Exactly. And let's not forget, DeepSeek made their model freely available.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyone can use it. While OpenAI's, their most advanced models, they're behind a paywall. And that open source approach, it could have a big impact on how AI is developed and shared in the future.
It's a really fascinating contrast. On one side, you have OpenAI backed by some of the biggest names in tech going with this more closed commercial model.
Right.
And then you have DeepSeek, this upstart, championing open access and collaboration.
It raises some really interesting questions about the values, the principles that'll shape the future of AI.
And, speaking of OpenAI being aware of this challenge, their CEO, Sam Altman, he actually publicly acknowledged DeepSeek R1.
He did?
Yeah, he called it impressive. Even said the competition was, and I quote, invigorating.
So they're not dismissing them?
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot about how things are shifting in AI.
Yeah.
Even the giants are starting to realize that the old rules, they might not apply anymore. And they need to adapt
to a new reality
where innovation can come from anywhere.
Yeah. Unexpected places.
It seems like we're witnessing this pivotal moment in the evolution of AI, where the established order is being challenged.
Yeah.
And new possibilities are emerging. DeepSeek's story, it's really a wake-up call, isn't it? for the whole tech world.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's proof that you don't have to be this massive company with billions of dollars to do something groundbreaking.
It's really exciting to see how they're kind of opening things up.
Yeah.
Creating a more diverse AI ecosystem.
So it's not just a handful of Silicon Valley companies controlling everything.
Right, exactly.
This could be a huge opportunity for smaller companies, researchers, developers all over the world, who maybe felt like they couldn't compete before.
Yeah. Now they have like a blueprint, a case study showing that you can achieve amazing things with a leaner, more efficient approach.
And it brings us back to that Sputnik moment idea.
Right.
Just like Sputnik shook things up back in the day and led to, a ton of investment in the space race.
Yeah.
Maybe DeepSeek can have a similar effect on AI globally.
It's certainly possible.
It's a good reminder that competition can be a really good thing.
Yeah.
It drives progress.
Yeah.
I mean, DeepSeek has thrown down the gauntlet. It'll be interesting to see how everyone else responds. Will we see this surge in AI investment all over the world?
I think we might. And it's not just about governments and corporations either. I mean, DeepSeek's open source approach, it could give individuals more power, Yeah. Researchers, small teams, they could all contribute in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
That's what's so exciting to me. It's not just about, who wins some abstract AI race. It's about how this technology is going to affect our lives, our societies, our future.
Yeah.
And I think DeepSeek is making things a little more democratic.
Absolutely.
AI it's going to touch everything in the next few years.
Yeah.
Healthcare, education, transportation, entertainment, you name it. Yeah. The possibilities are incredible, but so are the potential problems.
Yeah, that's why it's crucial to have different voices, different perspectives involved.
It shouldn't just be a few companies or a few governments deciding everything.
Exactly. We need to make sure that AI is developed ethically, responsibly, focusing on fairness, transparency, accountability, and DeepSeek's open source model. It could really help with that.
So to wrap things up, I want to leave you with this.
Yeah.
If DeepSeek, this small startup, if they were able to accomplish this much with so little, what could we achieve if we really unlock the potential of human ingenuity and collaboration?
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that the future is not set in stone. It's a call to action for all of us to be curious, to be bold, to embrace the power of AI, but also be mindful of the risks.
This isn't just about algorithms and data.
No.
It's about us. It's about the choices we make, the values we have, and the kind of world we want to create with this incredibly powerful technology.
So go out there, learn more, ask questions, and be part of the conversation. The future of AI is in our hands.